Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races, such as the Daytona 24, Spa 24, and the Nurburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR schedule, such as the Daytona 500. We have events from disciplines all across the racing world, from the Indianapolis 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events utilize iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against every driver taking part. And as every race progresses, watch and feel the track change with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iRacing.com/special-events.
When it comes to competitive open-wheel racing on road courses, there's nothing closer than iRacing Super Formula, and this is round 2 of a new season from the Nurburgring sports car circuit. We can't wait to get into it and see where our drivers stack up in this season 2026. It's Formula B Super Formula Series. The Super Formula cars out of Japan are some of the highest performance, close competitive spec wheel-to-wheel racing that can be found anywhere. You're live with us here on SimSpeed TV with David Haynes and Jay Kennedy as we get ready to see iRacing's greatest drivers compete for the points and the glory tonight.
Yeah, hello David, hello everyone. It's going to be a very, very exciting race. It should be very, very interesting. We had a very close one last week at Spa. It was a very entertaining one, so it should be very, very fun here at Nurburgring. It should be a little bit tighter, a little bit closer, so looking forward to seeing what this race brings forward for us and how it plays out.
This is almost the Nürburgring Grand Prix configuration, except it's going to be the sports car chicane. Most people will appreciate that. This is a great venue. An addition to the formidable and famous Nordschleife at Nürburgring. And these are the points at this stage of the championship. Across all of the iRacing official races and events, this is how the points stack up. Dan Jiang ahead of Lucas Hand, Kevin Foster, Daniel Radimilovic, Dejan Paunov, Benjamin David, Chris Rosenkrantz, Thiago Spencer, Brian Carey and Andrew Petty. But for the top split, and this time split of the iRacing official series, the
I just realised.
SimSpeed Championship is something we are going to keep our eyes on across this season. But after just one round, don't have available.
I threw you under the bus.
Bring to you at this point. We'll see that we've been to Circuit Spa-Francorchamps a week ago here at the Nurburgring Grand Prix Strecker, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, aka Mexico City, in a week's time, and then Barcelona, Catalunya, Fuji, Suzuka, Barber, Road America, Mugello, Monza, Portimao, and Silverstone is this season's calendar. We go to these great Grand Prix style tracks all around the world, and they so suit this car, Jay.
Yeah, it's a great car for these Formula style circuits. It provides some great overtaking with the strategy, and it's a really, really cool layout. This track as well, I think it should be a great track for overtaking, especially with the sports car chicane. I think we should see some really fun overtaking opportunities into that chicane at turn 13 and 14. Really looking forward to seeing how this track does play out. So it's going to be very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, just over 5 kilometers and a lot of history here with the Vorsteiner, the NGK chicane, Coca-Cola curve, that Mercedes arena, the Michael Schumacher S, and Dunlop that is apparently now Goodyear. Well, they've paid the circuit to tell you it's Goodyear. They haven't paid me to tell you, so it's still Dunlop to me. We've got our defending champion, I think, here in qualifying. It's always such a strong grid for iRacing Super Formula. And Timothy Friis-Larsen looks like he's at the top of the qualifying times right now. That is a driver who took multiple race wins and was the form driver last season.
Yeah, incredibly quick. And I don't think anyone's going to be able to challenge that time. It's just straight out of the bat, straight out of the gate, incredibly quick. So great starting lap for him. See what Felipe Sarkis can do here as he's about to come to the finish line on his second flying lap. And improves on that. We'll jump up to 11th position, so that's a good lap from him.
Yeah, Victor Awad is in second place at the moment. Just saw Anders Meyer jump up into third. Eric Marino Alaminos has no time yet as Lawrence Brown jumps up onto that second row of the grid in third place. We've seen that with no pit stops in these races, qualifying positions are pretty important. Very difficult to come from outside of the top 4 or 5 positions and take the race win, because moving forward through the field requires using up all of that precious time in your overtake system. And if you use it moving forward towards the front, you then won't have it to defend yourself once you're up there.
Exactly right. And we've seen the strategy of using that overtake system be so important throughout the series. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out throughout the race today. Only 2 drivers yet to post a time. Eric Marino Laminas still one of those, and Patrick Sena has not registered a time and will not get a time in this session. So we'll see how this plays out with a minute left on the clock.
Yaroslav Stanišenkov just jumped up into 9th there, the driver in the number 14 car. This being an iRacing official split session, every driver's car number is assigned based on their I rating from highest to lowest, first through to 17th by the looks of things, 18 cars that I can see. So Timothy Friis-Larsen, he is the form driver and he is up top. It means that Victor Awad as 5th seed is outperforming that title with 2nd place in this qualifying at the moment from Lawrence Brown and Anders Meyer. 13th seed Eric Marino Alaminos is the driver we are watching at the moment with no qualifying time, while 17 other drivers have a qualifying time on the board. He might be one of the last without one. There's the timing line, and he jumps into 14th position.
And that is everyone done by the looks of it. No, we'll get one more time.
Jilha Olila, might just run out of time before crossing the timing line there. No, the time sticks up into 12th position for the number 12 car. And we get ready to race at the Nurburgring for round 2 of Formula B iRacing Super Formula, this community split, supported very, very well by all the drivers and those who want to support it. And this is our broadcast time slot with Timothy Friis-Larsen on the pole position from Victor Awad. Lawrence Brown and Anders Meyer are row 2. Rohan Sena is in 5th with Dejan Paunov in 6th. Dan Jiang, 7th on the grid. Eugenio Stanislav in 8th. Yaroslav Shenetchinikov in 9th. And Darcy Dupois in 10th. Louis Kiffel in 11th. And Vesa Jihilia Olila in 12th. Felipe Sarkis has qualified 13th. Robin Krenecki in 14th. Eric Maria Alaminos leaving it late and getting 15th place for his efforts. Lucas Mendez in 16th, Poirot Eric in 17th, Rodri Thomas Morgan in 18th, and the last driver that we're going to see on the grid is Patrick Seiner, but did not set a qualifying time. It's 19 Super Formula cars on the grid for our race. The driver's choice of Honda or Toyota engines makes no practical difference other than whichever one they decided they wanted to support.
Exactly right. No difference. It's purely visual. Get ready to go.
They are ready to go. They are going to rev, and they're all going to start with a full complement of Overtake System. Timothy Friis-Larsen getting away well, but that looks like Awa not getting away particularly great. Lawrence Brown from around the outside of the hairpin turn 1. There's going to be just a little bit of contact at that pinch point. Hopefully that wing reattaches itself, otherwise we might have a little bit of damage there. Dan Jiang battling for 3rd position with Victor Awad. One of the drivers beginning to struggle. No problems at all for Timothy Friis-Larsen. Lawrence Brown be pretty happy with his getaway, but the Mercedes Arena has claimed some scalps.
Yeah, it looks like it was Dan Jiang that lost that front wing, and he's actually pulled the car over. He's lost his rear wing, actually, so he's got massive damage to the rear of his car, and he is race done. So that's unfortunate for Dan Jiang. Unfortunate that he is out so early after a great race last week. He had such a good run. Also lost Roddy Thomas Morgan as well. He's had a loop around. But the rest of the field has continued on. Come up to the Schumacher S.
Overtake System not active until the end of the first lap, so there's no extra horsepower to be had just yet. We'll cover off all of that as it becomes engaged. 200 seconds is what you start the race with. There's some rules around it, and that leads to the strategic way that the drivers will deploy it in this 22-lap race. Friis-Larsen from Brown, Awad, Meyer, Sena, Paunov, Stanislav, Sarkis, Seshenikov, and Dupois is our top 10. They go through that sports car version of the chicane, and they go through so close. There's contact going into the Coca-Cola curve. Wheels tangle. Sena and Meyer are dropping back big time. Victor Awad into the podium position. Rear deck lid missing.
Mechanical black flags appearing everywhere in this field now. So there's damage galore. We have more contact. Oh!
Massive incident. 4 cars tangled in the first chicane. So we had a damaged car make contact with another that then collected 2 more. And there is body panels everywhere from that contact. This is an opportunity, though, for some drivers who started outside of the top 10 to really make gains in this race. We have seen contact and chaos in the opening 5 kilometres.
Definitely have. We'll have a look at what happened to Dan Jiang first, then we'll go back and dissect those incidents. At the end of the first lap, there was contact here. Oh, just got a whack there coming out of the AMG Arena. And that was enough to damage the rear wing, knock it off.
And perhaps reminding some of us, as we saw the flags earlier, that there are drivers in this race from every corner of the globe, and you just can't get around physics. The serve has got to be somewhere, and drivers on the opposite side of the world will be 200 or more milliseconds away from that. Here's the contact going into the Coca-Cola curve, just a little bit of nose to tail, then the wheels interlocked, and it does damage to both. Someone else was missing their rear deck lid already in the Vodafone McLaren livery. Then we get some wheel-to-wheel contact here. So then those become 2 damaged cars, takes out a 4th that can't avoid, and it's scrap heap challenge out there.
A little bit disappointing to see because we've seen such great clean racing in previous races in this series. So yeah, a little bit bizarre to see how messy this race has been, but you know how clean the racing normally is. So I'm sure we see everyone back to racing clean in the coming events.
Victor Awad has used 30 seconds of his overtake system trying to stay with Lawrence Brown, who got that really good standing start getaway, and this is where the rear deck lid went for this car. A little bit of whoa, hello. I didn't know that's what was going to happen.
Neither did I. I was a bit shocked by that too. So that's a pretty decent incident, pretty decent whack there.
Yeah, and then unfortunately it continued with what we had already seen in the braking zone down towards turn 1. See, at this point you think the car with no front wing and no rear wing is going to get itself into some trouble, but no. It all happened behind that. Timothy Fries-Larsen hasn't touched his overtake system yet, leads this race by 2 seconds and has the fastest lap of the race. At the Nurburgring Grand Prix Strecke, everything is coming up Larsen, but the battle for the other steps on the podium is going to be very, very interesting. And also this battle between Felipe Sarkis and Yaroslav Shechenikov, who we ride on board with from the roll hoop position right now. The number 14 driver is up in 7th place, and that means he's outperforming expectations, or at least outperforming his iRacing open wheel license at the moment.
Saying that keeping yourself out of trouble is a great way to outperform your expectation in this race. It's just been a war of attrition, hasn't it? It's been a strange old race so far, but we're seeing that the drivers that can keep themselves out of trouble and get themselves a great result today. This is a fairly close fight at the moment, and also Yaroslav's used 20 seconds of his overtake system, whereas Felipe Sarkis has used 37 seconds of his. So Sarkis has used a little bit more at this stage of the race, but we know it's not necessarily about what you use at the start, it's about how much you've got left and to defend with.
And if you're new to Super Formula Racing or the iRacing Formula B Championship, the overtake system is like push to pass, except it has a cooldown. If you activate it and use it, once you deactivate it, you've got to wait an amount of time before you can activate it again. Now, there's very little surprise that a car with no rear wing, no rear diffuser, and no rear deck lid doesn't have a lot of rear grip. And so, this overtake system leads to some very tactical usage, where if you use it to defend on one lap, then you're locked out of it on the next lap and can leave yourself very vulnerable. So you've got to think 2 laps ahead of time. Where is my best opportunity to overtake? What do I need to do to defend because of this cooldown time built into the overtake system? If you click it, you have to wait before you can click it again.
Yeah, exactly right. You have to really plan out when you want to use it, when you are using it to defend or attack, and then understanding that your opponent will use it then in response. As Sarkis has just used his, so Roll Hope is actually using it right now, so the fast flash means that he is using the button right at this second. When it turns into a slow flash, it means that he has stopped using it. He is trying to pull a bit of a margin, but it is not working at this stage. He's not able to pull a big breakaway margin at the moment.
Goes through the final chicane and into the final corner. Yeah, left the system active out of the Dunlop curve all the way around to here. Yeah, really using it to try to build some gap. That's what he's doing at the moment, and maybe trying to catch Eugenio Stanislav. There's Felipe Sarkis in and amongst this battle. Timothy Fries-Larsen's race leading gap remains over 2 seconds to Lawrence Brown. Brown has managed to create more than a 1 second margin to Victor Awad, and Awad was very eager to use his overtake system early in the race to make that not the case. He sits 1.1 seconds behind second place, needs to just be careful of the gap to third place, Dejan Paunov, and Stanislav is the last driver inside of the top 5, and in this top 5 the closest battle is second and third. Brown gaining some positions on the race start from the standing start, which is what these Super Formula cars do, not like sports cars, stock cars, and even some touring cars with a rolling start.
Traditional style start with the standing start in these things. It's great to see. I love standing start. Always cool to watch. Now, talking about this battle for second, the last lap there was a bit of a closing of the gap between Brown and Oard. It's now down under a second, so Victor Oard is closing that gap down a little. As you said before, he's used a lot of that overtake system, almost half in the first 6 laps, so he does need to be a little bit more careful about how much he has left, but he has got the gap down to under a second, so that is a bonus. He will now be using a little bit of draft to close that gap down.
This race is not a marathon, but it is kind of like the 1500 metres. If you go too hard in the first lap, the first 400 metres, you'll have no gas left in the tank in the final 400. How you measure out the overtake system is very similar in that regard. Here's Sarkis and Shenichnikov. I'm not sure I'm any closer to that pronunciation than I was at the start of this broadcast, but despite Sarkis using the overtake system liberally the lap or so ago, has not managed to get any further ahead. And all of this points towards, as this unfolds and it all comes home to roost, that the driver of the number 14 car is in a pretty good position to try to make this position.
100%. This lap 0.3 of a second faster, and remember Sarkis used a lot of overtake system on that previous lap, so despite using a lot, hadn't really gained anything from it. So he's back on the button again now, so Sarkis is back using the overtake system. Yaroslav's still intent to save it for the latter stages of the race. As he's able to use the draft and still maintain the position, maintain the gap.
Who is going to stop Timothy Friis-Larsen? Still 200 seconds of overtake system in his bank, a new fastest lap of the race, and an even larger margin for the race lead. He's got all of those Norwegian Vikings rowing in the back of his car, it would seem. And Shenichnikov is even closer to Felipe Sarkis, who is in the cooldown of the overtake system. If Shenichnikov decides to activate his, there is no response that can be had.
Exactly right, and it may not be a bad time to do it coming out of the hairpin here, because Sarkis will still be in the cooldown. Maybe able to get a move done. I'm saying that, does he want to get a move done yet? Is it too early to potentially get a move done? Because Sarkis can still potentially come back. He's still got over 100 seconds left in the overtake system.
Here we go. It's active for the car we're on board with to try to hunt down 6th place. So through the Schumacher S, you close. You've got this sequence of corners, one of the few places at the Nurburgring where you can climb all over the curbs. And then as you get to throttle on this back straight with a kink, you'll close up towards the fast version of the chicane. Yeah, getting from 5 car lengths back to only 1 car length back in the braking zone, showing the nose in every way that applies, but not getting past.
Need to be a little bit closer.
Now Sarkis has got it.
Yep. Sarkis now on the defence with the overtake system. Yaroslav decides to press the button to stop the overtake. He's used about 35 seconds worth during that segment. So it was a good little learning experience though, because he now understands what he'll need to do to get the overtake done. Maybe the front straight is actually the position where he needs to use the overtake rather than down that back straight.
Yeah, so just a couple of straights, none of them especially long, a la Monza or Mexico City. You've got to straight down towards the hairpin here, exiting the hairpin, back straight sort of towards the chicane, and then the pit front straight. Still not yet at the halfway point of the race, and there's a few drivers who still have 200 seconds of overtake available to them. Your race leader, Timothy Friis Larsen from Finland, Vesa-Hila Olila in 9th, and then Lucas Mendez in 14th, Rohan Sena in 15th, Dan Jiang in 17th, I think, is out of this race. So with all of the contact and a race that doesn't normally have pit stops, we do have a number of retirements. New fastest lap of the race for Timothy Friis Larsen. In second place, Lawrence Brown. And third, Victor Awad, still trying to not let that second place get too far away from him. But he finds himself in a difficult position where he's not making a whole lot of inroads on second, and fourth has more Overtake System and is just a little bit behind him. The other great battle on track, Sarkis versus Shenikov. Sarkis is one of the first drivers who'll go underneath 100 seconds of overtake and still has a driver breathing down the back of his neck.
You definitely can't shake him away, can he? Sarkis, every time he feels like he might get a little bit of a breather, might get a little bit of a break from feeling the intensity but from behind. It's right there. It's there to potentially make a move, potentially pounce, but just can't shake this little fight from Yaroslav. It's going to get very, very interesting. The second half of the race is just going to build for these guys, isn't it? You just don't know when it's going to be an outbreak between these two. You can feel that it's going to get... I don't know. I have a feeling that something's going to happen between these two because the defense is getting a little bit more aggressive the more you watch from Sarkis. It's not aggressive yet, but just every now and again you just see he's starting to use a slightly different line to defend, and now he's on the button. Both on the button.
They're all on the button. Yes, 6th and 7th, one of the best battles in the field. The top 5 or so have begun to spread out just a little bit, but maybe the difference in how they've been using their overtake system could bring them closer together. Inline 4-cylinder, single turbo, 1 exhaust exit on these cars. It appears it's on the right-hand side. Felipe Sarkis has to look in his right-hand side mirror at Yaroslav Shenikov, who is keeping on applying pressure. We go from looking at 6th place to looking at 7th, and this is driving in the other guy's mirrors, but taking the tight line through the arena there. The rear grip will not abide, dude.
Surprised that he was able to find any grip at all there, and interesting that Yaroslav used about 2 seconds worth of overtake system, decided that he wasn't going to be able to make the move after Sarkis used the overtake himself. Got off the overtake system, so he's now got over double the amount of overtake available that Sarkis does. Sarkis in 73 seconds, Yaroslav on 148 seconds. And while we've been watching these two go at it and stretch out the gap more than half a second, the gap second and third has got down to half a second as well.
Slipstream is usually pretty powerful in these aerodynamically sensitive cars, and it means that if you can get within 1 second of the driver in front, you can get into their slipstream, and that will keep you close there. That will save you time. And if you can remain in that 1 second, you often don't need to use your overtake system. The driver in front might use theirs to try to break that toe, break that margin, but if you can still stay stuck to them, that is an advantage to you. If you can stay with the driver in front in the slipstream without using your overtake system while they have to use theirs, then we get to the final 5 laps, 3 laps, final lap of the race, and you might find you can swing that back in your advantage. Neither of these drivers, though, are catching our form driver, Timothy Friis Larsen from Norway. He's the defending champion. He's the number 1 car, and he's the number 1 driver today.
He's just blitzing the field, isn't he? He's absolutely dominating these drivers at the moment, and he's yet to touch the overtake system.
Hasn't needed to.
No. You've got pace without it. It'll be interesting to see what he does. 2 laps to go and presses the button for those last 2 laps. Time you can get down using his 3 minutes of overtake.
The presence of powered by TRD on his car suggests that he has chosen the Toyota instead of the Honda Super Formula. They are entirely equal in performance, but they are two different cars on iRacing. You've got to choose one or the other. Visually, no difference, unlike picking a Chevrolet or Ford V8 supercar. And he is dancing this thing around. An absolute delight to watch. This is a driver who is incredibly attuned to these style of racing cars. He's looking to grand slam it here at the Nurburgring. It is pole. It is every lap led so far, and at the moment the fastest lap of the race belongs to him. One thing we know about these Super Formula cars though, in a no pit stop race, is the tyres hang on very well, and as the race goes on you burn fuel and you get lighter. As you can see from, for example, Lawrence Brown's lap times, getting about half a tenth of a second quicker each lap. You do get quicker as the race goes on. Durable tyres, car gets lighter.
And we'll see the fastest lap go down and probably be broken on the final lap of the race as they use the overtake system on those last two laps as well, especially with Fries Larson saving all of his overtake system for that last lap, the last couple of laps. So don't be surprised to see him break down into the low 131s in that final lap of the race. Brown now really feeling the pressure from behind. He's in the cool down, only 11 seconds left. And Victor Ard is on the button right now, coming down the front straight.
Brown goes all the way to the pit wall and then back to the racing line. Victor Awad looks down the inside of the tight hairpin turn one, drops down at the apex, leaves exactly the right amount of space, and Victor Awad is up into second position. Lawrence Brown behind him is not in the cool down of the overtake and has more available. Could this swap back in quick order?
I feel like it probably will, just based on the amount of overtake system available. So Victor Awad has 82 seconds remaining and Lawrence Brown has 168 seconds remaining. So almost 3 minutes of overtake system available. Only 9 laps to go. Definitely start using a little bit more of that overtake system, and he probably will.
Driver quietly pacing away is Dejan Paunov in fourth place. He will have had an eye on this battle the whole time. He's had to use a bit of his overtake system as well. Drives from all around the world in this. Unfortunately, I think we lost both of our Australians potentially. But Lawrence Brown from Germany, Victor Awad from Brazil, Timothy Fries Larson from Norway is our podium at the moment. Oh no, we do have Rodri Thomas Morgan running in 10th at the moment. It would be very funny with that livery if he'd chosen the Honda.
We do have two drivers that are still in the race racing in the Honda. We have Jaroslav in the Honda and Andreas in the Honda. So they're the only two drivers in the Hondas. Everyone else is in the Toyota.
Jog my memory, one of them became available a season before the other, and it was just a licensing. iRacing got the sign off from one brand earlier than the other.
Yep, and I don't remember which one it was. Someone in the YouTube chat will remind us, I'm sure.
I want to suspect the one that everyone is using is the one that became available and just felt like the super formula. And then it was like, oh, hey, the other one's available too now, like if you want to. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. So now 82 seconds of overtake system for Victor Awad in second place. Lawrence Brown still right behind him in third.
And for the first time as well, John Paunov is less than 2 seconds behind car in third place. So you're starting to close that gap down.
He wants to be a part of this battle for second and third and make it a battle for fourth as well. And he has more than 10 seconds to Eugenio Stanislav in fifth, who has 3 seconds to one of our favourite battles, Felipe Sarkis versus Shenikov. And then, yeah, Myra, Hilla Olilula and Morgan the final drivers inside of the top 10. Now it's Victor Awad's turn to come out of the final corner, go all the way across to the right, all the way back to the left, trying to break the toe, trying to defend his position. What's Brown's overtake system doing? He's got it available to him, but it seems like he's waiting and he's waiting. A lap around here is just over 90 seconds. So anyone with that much overtake system available to them could activate it and leave it activated for the whole final lap of the race. Sarkis, Chenikov, 6th and 7th.
It's a very interesting battle with the amount of overtake system available still too. Yugoslav still has plenty, but he's used a lot of it comparatively to when we last checked in, so he hasn't been able to make use of what he had.
They're well and truly of 8th place, not that far behind 5th. So there are a couple of little gaps that have emerged between sort of 1st and 2nd, between 4th and 5th, between 7th and 8th. And this is within about a car length exiting the Schumacher S. Climbing over the curbs around here. I think Chenikov fancies himself towards the chicane. There is a little bit of active overtake system in this battle. Nothing changes hands. This is one of those tracks that in some of the darker years of Formula One felt like overtaking was very difficult. None of the straights were quite long enough. None of the braking zones aside from turn 1 were quite hard enough.
Here we go.
Except overtake system looks to account for that in Super Formula. Chenikov trying to get down the inside of turn 1, crossing over through the arena like it was designed to do, outbrakes himself into the left-hander, makes contact, takes the rear wing off Felipe Sarkis. He got to the inside correctly, but then he outbraked himself. He pushed wide of the apex and he hit and damaged the other driver. Felipe Sarkis did nothing wrong there.
No, wrong place, wrong time was the only thing he did wrong there. It's just unfortunate. Yugoslav saw a gap open that probably wasn't quite big enough for a car and tried it. Can't fault the ambition, but you can fault potentially the move at the wrong spot. And,
the crossover was on here.
Yeah.
Was very well done. Looking for the inside, then he outbrakes himself. Yep. He doesn't get onto that red and white curb. He's 2/3 of the way across the road, hitting a car that left plenty of space to the inside. Sarkis did. Saw that move coming, left space to the inside, and then the other driver has taken all of that space and a bit more and really devastatingly damaged what could have been a great battle.
Yep. Unfortunate. You feel for Felipe Sarkis there because he deserved a good finish because he had put up a good fight to hold on to that position, but he's done now. Interesting to go back to this battle. Lawrence Brown has not been able to stick with Victor Awad here. He's really struggling to hold on. He's now lost a full second to Victor Awad.
Yeah, interesting to see these gaps sort of equalise in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Really looked like Brown was doing everything right to have 2nd position. He had a great getaway. He was managing his overtake system more sparingly compared to Victor Awad. But once Awad got through, it seems like in clear air he might just have a little bit more pace than Brown. Brown's best hope is maybe preserving 30 or 40 seconds more overtake system and using it later in this race when Awad will be exposed. But right now, if you're 2 or 3 seconds up the road, another driver could have more overtake system than you. You don't feel particularly exposed.
Exactly right. The one I think that's going to be interesting to watch is Pounov here because he's now only 1.2 seconds back from Lorenzo Brown. So this is going to be very interesting over the next lap to see how close he gets before we get into the final three. And where he can get to as we reach that point where everyone's just going to be on the button for the entirety of the race. So, yeah, well, let's see what happens in the next 3 laps, because that final lap is going to be an all-in brawl with everyone on the button. But before that point, wow, it's going to be fun.
Panov's in 4th place right now, and a great view of the drivers in front of him. Goes through that banked Dunlop hairpin where you can ride the curb on the exit. These cars have got so much grip. He's in the Overtake system. I think he can almost keep it flat out, full throttle up through the Schumacher S. There is so much grip to these cars, their aerodynamics and their tyres. And then across the curb here, and you get to full throttle in not too long. Big green and yellow line up in the steering wheel tells you he's using all of that extra horsepower. So we approach 4 laps to go. You use some, you enter cooldown, you might just be reactive in time for the final lap. They're not catching Timothy Fries-Larsen. He leads by almost 10 seconds.
And he still hasn't pressed the button.
Sickening, isn't it?
It's crazy how quick he is without touching the button. So Paunov's pressed the button to remain with 74 seconds left, and Brown's left himself just under 150 seconds, 149 for his final run at the end. But these 3 now are all within 2 and a bit seconds, so this is going to be very interesting for the end of the race. But, Victor Ard's doing enough. He's doing a great job of holding on and stretching the gap out.
Awad, Brown and Paunov have all got 22-foot caravans with finance, and Fries-Larsen has bought one without a loan. So that's kind of how it plays out at the moment. He's got everything in the bank and a gigantic lead. He's had a replay of exactly what challenge the fast version of the chicane provides. Oh, it was nearly a nice 360 reverse entry into the drift, but unfortunately that looks like it's going to be another retirement from this race.
Yep, that was Patrick Sinner who decided to retire after that moment. He will finish in 11th position, leaves us with 10 runners. Felipe Sarkis has gone back out onto the track and has maintained himself on the lead lap as well, which is good to see. Timothy Fries-Larsen has finally pressed the button. So he is now into his overtake system.
5 minutes to closing time, and he has cashed in all of his chips at the casino. Timothy Fries-Larsen has pushed the button, and in 200 seconds time, I think it will expire somewhere on the final lap of the race. Awad, Brown and Paunov, similar things to consider. Lawrence Brown has activated his Overtake system on the penultimate lap. I think that will carry him all the way to the end. And we thought, that might let him challenge Victor Awad again, but in fact he needs it to keep Dejan Paunov off the podium. That's the battle right now. 3rd and 4th. Brown has got more horsepower. Does he have the tyres underneath him? Paunov also with Overtake on.
Paunov will basically run out as they start the final lap. So he's going to have to run that final lap just using draft alone. So he's going to have to hope that he's got enough.
Elsewhere, Stanislav in 5th, Meyer in 6th, Shevchenikov in 7th. Not using any of their overtake just yet, saving it up towards the final lap with Timothy Fries-Larsen begins. Lap 22 from the Nurburgring Grand Prix Strecke. Victor Awad in 2nd place. The slim amount that he had remaining of the overtake system he now activates, with 3rd and 4th place behind him. There is 2 available spots on the podium behind Timothy Fries-Larsen, and we have 3 drivers who want a claim to them.
It's closing up. It's 3rd and 4th, isn't it? It's got very, very tight. I don't think they're catching Victor Awad. Paunov now out of overtake system. He's got nothing left, but the draft is strong. But is it strong enough to actually get the overtake done? It's going to be difficult to actually get the physical overtake completed.
That's
Not impossible.
0 seconds of Overtake System left. The car in front is going to blast out of the traction zone and up the hill where it seems like these cars stayed flat out, full throttle up the Schumacher-esque. So much grip to the iRacing Super Formula car, and all of that might just come home to help Lawrence Brown remain on the podium. Timothy Fries-Larsen, no one has held a candle to him at the Nurburgring Grand Prix Schrecker. Fastest lap of the race, pole position, every lap led, and yes, the win at the Nurburgring for Timothy Fries-Larsen.
And how about the fastest lap on the final lap as well with the Overtake System to finish it off? Well done for Lawrence Brown to hold on to Dejan Panov to get there very, very close in the end. Well done. Great battle from those guys in the end.
Here's a car that looks like it's burning through its Overtake System on the final lap. And that's often when you'll set the fastest lap of the race too. The car is so light, you've got the last tiny amount of fuel remaining, and you use all of your extra horsepower and anything that's left in the tyres. And as Myra will finish 6th, Yaroslav Shchenikov, apparently without too much damage on his car, just keeps on 7th place. Nevesa Gila Olila, and the final spot inside of the top 10 belongs to Rodri Thomas Morgan, with 9th actually. Who is going to get 10th?
Our 10th is Felipe Sarkis, who just came across just in front. He did go a lap down in the end.
We'll get to those results in just a second, now that it seems like everyone is finished at the Nurburgring Grand Prix Strecke. Timothy Fries-Larsen, unstoppable in 22 laps, winning by 12 seconds. A great battle behind him. Victor Awad able to reclaim 2nd place after Lawrence Brown had an amazing getaway from the race start, and then saved his Overtake System to defend from Dejan Panov, who finishes in 4th. Eugenia Stanislav in 5th, Anders Myra in 6th, Yaroslav Shchenikov in 7th, Vesa Jilha Olila in 8th, Rodri Thomas Morgan 9th. Last car on the lead lap as Felipe Sarkis went lap down in a race that was relatively bruising for some. Patrick Steiner retiring 4 laps short of the completed distance, and also big retirements towards the tail end of the field here for Louis Kiffel, Eric Marino Alaminos, Lucas Mendez, Poira Eric, Rohan Steiner, Darcy Dubois, Robin Krennicki, and Dan Jiang. We saw some really big incidents in those first 2 laps, and thereafter we saw some amazing racing for our podium position. There is the Nurburgring, the Eiffel Castle, and we are going to get towards some of our podium drivers. They'll come have a chat with us, and it seems like 2nd place Victor Awad joins us in the SimSpeed commentary box. We spent most of that race watching the battle for the podium. It was very, very exciting, and I'm sure your heart's racing.
Yep, actually I was racing too, my heart was racing too. It was a very nervous race. I started P2, lost it at the start, had an incident with Dan, which I actually have to review. I don't know what happened, but I ended up, behind Braun like the whole race, just staying calm, getting it together, and hoping for the best opportunity to overtake and just go ahead, because I wouldn't be able to catch Larson.
So a new season of this car in this championship, not too many adjustments to it like some other cars on iRacing.
Yeah, the car is practically the same. I don't know. Uh, there's always some adjustments you have to make. I don't know, according to each week, each weather conditions. I was just talking to Lars, and we both felt like the track was very grippy all week long. So no major changes, just adapting each week.
Who's going to win the World Cup?
Hopefully Brazil. I asked ChatGPT, he doesn't agree with me. Claude doesn't also agree with me, but I need to hope for that.
I'm sure they all said Cabo Verde, so we'll keep an eye on that, just like we'll keep an eye on this weekly Sim Speed Championship, the Super Formula, and you always feature highly in the results here. So, second place in a grand final, maybe it's suitable for a Brazilian.
You don't know about Brazilian fans. Like P2 on the World Cup would be just as bad as last place. So it's it's really tough.
I know Caipirinhas, that's about it. We'll see you for the rest of the season, and congratulations on your great fight to get back into second place.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you a lot for everything, for the transmission community. Just a quick shout out to my teammates at Brazilian Storm and to my wife who's supporting me, and thank you all.
Victor Awad finished second today, and untouchable with the complete clean sweep. Timothy Fries-Larsen had the pole position, every lap led, the fastest lap of the race, and victory at the Nurburgring. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels good to start my season on top in every kind of counting thing. So yeah, it feels good for sure.
Did you have to get, all of your friends and family to row for this one?
I didn't tell them, but I wouldn't be too surprised. And really, like, it would be really fun if they did that. Yeah, no, yeah, it was pretty simple race on my end. Really, just managing to get pole position, getting a clean start, and yeah, just managing the car from start to finish. And yeah, that has been kind of tricky, especially in the first sector where it's just super easy to lose the rear on power. So you have to be pretty light on your right foot. And then with this layout, with the fast chicane at the end, you have to be super precise to avoid the far inside curb on the left-hand bit, avoid the off track on the right-hand bit, and then be careful on not taking too much exit curb and losing the car there. So yeah, quite a bit of things to manage, but yeah, managed to do that pretty well.
I asked Victor Awad who's going to win the World Cup, so it's only fair I ask you too. Who's going to stop Cabo Verde?
I mean, realistically speaking, I'm not sure. We have it, but I have to say, Norway either way. Like, it's been 28 years since they last were in, and it's the first time in my lifetime that I get to witness this. Go Norway!
Fantastic. Lots of people have been cheering for you today, but when the football is on, you can cheer for whoever you'd like. And well done. Today was a simply superb performance in every regard.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, to say it properly this time, Heia Norge! Woo!
No hydration break here at the Nurburgring, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't need that, to be honest. It's getting pretty hot up here in Norway too, just like in the rest of Europe. And yeah, I'm sweating my back off.
Best of luck with your racing this season. We'll see you again soon, no doubt.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll see ya.
And it seems like hopefully we can get a quick word with third place Lorenz Brown. Well done. Great race for the podium.
Thanks so much. Appreciate being here.
You did a good job of saving your overtake system to try to battle with Victor Awad, but once he had the clean air, it seemed like horsepower or no horsepower, he was just too quick for you.
Yeah, I mean, he did an incredible job keeping it all together, and it's just incredibly hard to do the full race distance. Here in Germany, it's like 40 degrees in my room, and sweated the whole time. After like 5 laps, all the sweat kept draining down my face, and it was pretty tough, to be honest. But in the end, I think it was a really good result for the first race here.
In January, I was driving back home from my uncle's house, and it was 45 degrees in Australia. So you will survive. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll be okay.
So, this season, how many more races will we see you for? Is this a championship you're going to continue to contend?
I wouldn't promise I will drive every race here, but I'll give my best to take the time and get the most points possible.
Well, it looks like a really good calendar for iRacing Super Formula this season. Some really good Grand Prix tracks. We should see some more great racing. Well done to you on the podium, and hopefully the weather and everything else and timing and schedules means we'll see more of you battling for the podium. Great racing.
Thanks so much.
That is round 2 complete of iRacing Formula B Super Formula from the Nurburgring Grand Prix Strecke. Great to hear from all of our podium drivers. And now to hear from those who make this broadcast possible. They have donated and supported to bring you every round of the championship. It's SyncMesh. And a thank you to Tamash Setups who support the broadcast. Get Good, 3R Simworks, James Byrne Coaching, Lap Labs are supporting this broadcast, as well as Full Push Sim Gear, Canada's ultimate destination for elite gear. From precision pedals to professional turnkey rigs, we fuel your obsession. Pure performance, expert support. Push harder, drive faster. Sim Racing Nation, the community for sim racing enthusiasts and motorsport professionals from around the world. They focus on fostering competitive racing and an environment for drivers of all skill levels. TDI 99. TDI 99 level up with 15 years of racing grit. TDI delivers pro tips, quick laps, and the hard truths F1 won't discuss. Follow TDI 99 on YouTube today. Rookie Racing. Ready to hit the track? Rookie Racing is your spot to discover motorsports. We make it easy for new racers to get behind the wheels, so stop dreaming and start driving. Book your experience or full season at rookieracing.ca, located in the Greater Toronto area. From David Haynes and Jay Kennedy and SimSpeed TV, that's everything from the Nurburgring Grand Prix Strecke. We'll catch you next week for the next round from Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, the Brothers Rodriguez, Mexico City. That's Saturday, 4th of July, same time at the heights and heat of Mexico City.